We're now going to look at an around the world journey. So around the world, you may ask, we've got Sydney, Los Angeles, Paris, Singapore to Sydney. The reason why we call it an around the world fare is, guess what? We're traveling around the world. We're going across the Pacific Ocean, then across the Atlantic, and then we're coming back through the Eastern Hemisphere. So again, like return journeys, first thing we need to do is establish where is the fare break point for this journey. With around the world journeys, it's really quite easy. You need to break your journey at a city in Area 2, so normally in UK or Europe. So looking at this journey, Paris is our only city in Area 2. So our outbound fare, you would look up a Sydney to Paris, and inbound is also Sydney to Paris. But why are they different? On the outbound, your global indicator for this one is going to be AP. The reason being we're going from Australia or Sydney in Area 3, through to Los Angeles, which is in Area 1, through then to Paris in Area 2. So we've gone via both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. So that's on our outbound. On the inbound, our global indicator, Paris, Singapore, back to Sydney, we're going from Area 2 just straight back to Area 3. So we're only travelling in the Eastern Hemisphere. So that global indicator is EH. So the key thing with round the world journeys is that you're always going to have a different global indicator on the outbound to the inbound. Doesn't necessarily have to be in this order of APEH. It might be the other way around. So when you then go to look up your fare or your NUC, you have to make sure on your outbound, you look up Sydney to Paris, you look up half a return AP Sydney to Paris fare. And coming in on the inbound, you look up half of a return EH. So we've got our differences showing. The other point of difference is going to be your MPM. The MPM, when you look up Sydney to Paris, you'll find there's an EH MPM, an AP, and there's another one called TS, but we're not going into that now. So Sydney to Paris, you look up the AP MPM, and that one's actually 15271. And on the inbound, when we're using EH, the MPM is 12994. Reason for the difference? This journey, Sydney, Paris, Los Angeles to Paris, because we're going via LA, we're flying a much greater distance. So your NUC will be higher, your MPM is higher. With EH, it's a more direct route we've travelled, so the MPM is lower and the NUC is lower. So the key points to remember when you're doing an around the world journey is where to break your fare, which will normally be in somewhere in Area 2, UK or Europe. Make sure you've got different global indicators, inbound and outbound. Therefore, you'll have a different NUC, inbound, outbound, and a different MPM, inbound, outbound. So good luck with calculating your around the world journeys.